The early 1960s were a hotbed of design and the birthplace of many revolutionary car designs that we know and cherish today. Cars like the Pontiac GTO, the Ford Mustang, and the Chevrolet Chevelle all came onto the scene and have since been immortalized in the car industry. However, no car has such a cherished heritage and historical background as the one that we're going to talk about today. One that came around in 1953 and was fine-tuned for speed and performance by 1963. One that, while over 21,000 vehicles will be produced in total for its 1963 model year, just less than 200 of this production road racer would be built. In this video, we are talking about the legendary fuel-injected 1963 Chevrolet Corvette Z06. But first, a quick message from this video's sponsor, CarVertical. CarVertical is an online vehicle history platform that allows you to pull back the curtain and truly see what the potential car you might be purchasing is hiding. Let's say, for example, you found a steal of a deal on a 2019 Mustang GT, but you want to make sure everything is on the up and up. Well, in just seconds, you can slip away from the pushy salesman and enter in the VIN number of the car and get a detailed report that shows all the things that you would want to know before buying a car, like its owner history, real mileage calculations, title status, and even in this case, a nasty accident that actually ended up totaling the car. So if you're looking to buy a car soon, then go to the link in the description to save 10% on your first CarVertical vehicle check by using the code RARECARS. And remember, the insignificant price of one CarVertical report could end up saving you thousands when purchasing your next car. Now, before we discuss exactly what the Z06 is, and I probably have surprised you with the fact that there even is such a thing as a 63 Z06. So we need to first go back nearly 10 years when the first of the fiberglass-bodied Corvettes rolled off the assembly line in 1953. From the moment that it hit the streets, the Corvette didn't just enter the scene, it redefined it, earning the title America's sports car. It led a revolution alongside rivals like the Ford Thunderbird and the Chrysler C300, heralding a new era of two-seat sports cars, as it evolved through facelifts and improvements until 1962, when the stage was set for the groundbreaking C2 Corvette, a marvel of sleek lines and enhanced performance. The creation of the C2 was a gathering of minds and a convergence of visionaries like Ed Cole, John DeLorean, and the legendary Zora Arkus Duntov. Duntov, a name synonymous with engineering brilliance and racing prowess. He was the mastermind of the Corvette's transformation, pushing the boundaries with ideas that were ahead of their time, from an all-wheel drive system to even innovative rotary power plants for the Corvette. Duntov's story is absolutely insane, and we will be covering all of it in a future video. But under his direction, the Corvette was more than just a car. It was a project of passion that blended daring design with cutting-edge technology. The Stingray, which at the time was a concept, birthed from the combined efforts of Duntov and Bill Mitchell. This was the precursor to the C2 Corvette, and it integrated the best of their ideas into the experimental Project XP720. Now, this project not only aimed to enhance the Corvette's aesthetics, but also its performance, culminating in a design that was both stunning and functional. Designed by icons and refined by aerodynamic testing in a wind tunnel, the C2 Corvette was ready to be shown to the world for 1963. The C2 Corvette was a spectacle of design that seemed almost alien in its beauty. With its distinctive bullet shape and its cockpit nestled close to the rear, it was a statement of innovation and speed, and a testament to the lengths that General Motors was willing to go to achieve automotive excellence. Car and Driver wrote a very approving comment about the new Corvette, saying, "Compared with previous Corvettes, the Stingray has improved in almost every imaginable aspect: performance, handling, ride comfort, habitability, and trunk space." The results were in. The press loved the car, and so did the public. So much so that Chevrolet had to outsource the building of the fiberglass bodies for the new C2 Corvette because their actual factory couldn't keep up with the influx of orders. However, much like a mad scientist secretly building his experiments, Duntov was also working on a purpose-built, no-compromises, high-performance version of this new vet. But as you know if you've watched any previous videos of ours, 1963 wasn't exactly a trophy year for GM if you wanted to build a high-performance car. 1963 was the first year that GM began to enforce the AMA racing ban on manufacturers' involvements in racing, which heavily restricted the power and performance packages for cars. Duntov knew that individuals would continue to race the Corvette and suggested a way to circumvent the ban with a special equipment package under the code RPO Z06. RPO stands for Regular Production Option, which was the order coding that GM used when customers ordered vehicles, and this Z06 package was created specifically for competition-minded buyers by giving them the option for what was essentially a race-ready car just by checking an option box. And speaking of options, under the hood of this special order Z06 Corvette, there was only one option available, a Rochester fuel-injected L84 327 cubic inch small block Chevy V8, which included factory manifolds as a requirement for the SCCA production classes. This hopped-up 327 also featured an 11.25:1 compression ratio with forged aluminum pistons and a solid lifter cam that was paired with the famous Camel Hump 461 Fuelie heads. This combination was the highest output 327 in the engine's inaugural year, with 360 horsepower at 6,000 RPM and 352 foot-pounds of torque at 4,000 RPM. Behind the high-compression V8 sat a wide-ratio Muncie M20 4-speed manual transmission that was combined with yet another Duntov creation for this new vet, and that was the C2 Corvette's independent rear end with a positive traction differential out back to give the car extra handling performance over its solid axle conventional leaf spring predecessor. When ordering a Z06, customers would actually have to state that they were purchasing a Fuelie coupe equipped with the mentioned 4-speed and posi rear before being able to add the Z06 option on top of it, which I guess added another layer of sneakiness by GM to make this a need-to-know type of vehicle. Up front, the Z06 was given an A-arm suspension setup with upgraded braking components that included power drum brakes that featured aluminum thin drums that were cooled by front air scoops and vented backing plates. These drums were paired with a vacuum booster and a dual master cylinder, which made at the time the 63 Z06 probably one of the most performance-minded drum brake setups that you could think of. The Z06 was also given thicker anti-roll bars, larger dampers, and shocks and springs that were nearly twice as stiff as the regular base model Corvettes were. And one of the most interesting things about the early 63 Z06s is that it could also have been paired with a larger fuel tank from the factory. By replacing the factory 20-gallon tank with a 36.5-gallon fiberglass fuel tank, this option was available to give racers added fuel for endurance racing at tracks such as Sebring and Daytona. These cars would be affectionately nicknamed Big Tank or Tanker Corvettes. And combine all of these suspension and braking upgrades with the potent Fuelie small block, Duntov and Chevrolet succeeded in creating a Corvette that could compete with Europe's top road course cars on any track. Not to mention, it could go deep into the 14-second range at the quarter mile with a sub-6-second 0 to 60 time, which were very strong numbers for the early 60s. And inside, the Z06 didn't disappoint either, featuring leather-wrapped bucket seats separated by an aluminum center console housing that housed the shifter that is centered between the two large humps in the dash. A large steering wheel sits in front of the elegant and performance-oriented gauge cluster that reminds the driver that this particular vet means business, with a speedo that hits 140 and a 7,000 RPM red line on the tachometer. The aggressive look and feel of the 63 Z06 Corvette exudes the need to go race and go fast anywhere and everywhere that you can. And for the few Z06s that were actually built, pretty much all of them did just that. A handful were built in late 1962 to compete specifically in Le Mans racing by Chevrolet, as well as many other events like the American Challenge Cup, where famed drivers like Junior Johnson and AJ Foyt would get behind the wheel and compete with these, which helped fully cement the new Z06 name into racing history. In all, 21,500 Corvettes would be built for 1963, and of those, only 199 of them would be coated with the Z06 package. And of those 199, only 63 of them or so were built with the large tank. Now, this is probably due to a few reasons. First off, Chevrolet simply did not advertise the Z06, so people knew about them on a very need-to-know basis, which was kind of by design. Secondly, the people that did know about the Z06 knew it cost a pretty penny. The Z06 package cost nearly 50% more than a base model Corvette. A base model C2 at the time cost $4,037, and the Z06 package was an additional $1,800 or more. That following year, Chevrolet decided to not re-implement the Z06 into production and opted to work towards building other engine options throughout the C2's tenure. That ended and peaked with the legendary L88 427 big block under the hood, which we've made a separate video on. And the term Z06, though, wouldn't be gone forever. It would return nearly 40 years later with the C5 Z06 in 2001, which would bear the name with pride as it would go on to be one of the first production cars to lap the Nürburgring in under 8 minutes. Thanks to a myriad of engineers and designers, the '63 Corvette Z06 has become a car of legends. It's unknown how many are truly left today, with many of them likely being used up as race cars throughout the years, but the ones that do survive today are nothing short of holy grail cars that are worth well in excess of $300,000 US today, making them one of the rarest production Corvettes ever built, and the car that started the iconic Z06 lineage. Thank you all for watching another episode of our Rare Cars documentary series. If you enjoyed this video, we would greatly appreciate it if you could drop a like and also share this video with other enthusiasts. Also, please make sure that you are subscribed to the Rare Cars YouTube channel and smash that notification bell for more documentary-style videos just like this on the world's most interesting cars. Until next time, enthusiasts.